Alright, today I am throwing the ARM Motorsports Catless downpipes onto the 2012 335 IS N54 E92. Really wishing I would have put them on yesterday. It's about 45 degrees and clear here. It's a horsepower weather kind of day, but anyway, I've done this before, so these are not brand new downpipes. I had them on another car, put them off, put them on this. There's a lot of good videos on how to get it done, but I'll kind of show any, sort of the steps along the way. Basically, to summarize, you lift the car, you groan and cuss a lot as you pull the downpipes off, groan and cuss a lot as you put them back on, lower the car and go have fun. But that's it in a nutshell. So got the car lifted. We're going to start by removing the lower engine and transmission covers and the V-brace and the power steering rack. We'll move that out of the way. Might go ahead and release the right tie rod into just to give a little bit more room, and I'll show why in just a second. Now we're going to pull the V-brace off. It's 4 16mm. Make that 6 16mm. Now I'm going to end up releasing the steering rack to slide forward. It's an E12, and the nut on top is a 16mm. And I don't even think I owned a 16mm before I had a BMW, but anyway, loosen both of these so we can slide the rack forward. Should give us more access to this little area here. That. Voila. Use the pliers. Pardon me. I decided to give me the most. Here comes the leaf blower. Bang for my wrench turning belt is moving this little heat shield, which is 3 torque screws and a small crank. This is a T25. Yeah, had 1 here and 2 on the inside, and took that out of the way, and now I have plenty of room to work with. I use my 22mm adapter for the ratchet to loosen up break loose both the O2 sensors at this point. The O2 sensors got loosened up and taken out. Pay attention when you are taking them out. See what I'm talking about with the cable twisting from unscrewing it. When you go to put them back in, you can counter twist them before putting it in a certain amount. One O2 sensor cable is covered in black and the other's in gray. So the black one is the front one on both ones I've worked on. So just remember, black ain't the back, or another way to keep it straight is that front and black both have 5 letters, and rear and gray both have 4. I don't know, just whatever it is, but the black's the front one, gray is the rear. And if you come to the rear, post-cat O2 sensors are the same thing. So if you trace the forward bank cat, O2 sensor comes out, black wire, gray wire. So on these, I'll just end up disconnecting when I pull it off. This is a 13mm nut. The stock downpipes, you don't need to counter hold or anything. They're pressed in and attached. I guess these downpipes have already been off. I think the factory replaced the turbos under warranty, and they didn't put the nuts back on. So you have to move those nuts And then that bracket, which actually goes into, is held on by the bell housing bolts. Those have to come off to get that bracket out of the way, because the aftermarket downpipes are bigger in diameter. I want to try to get the mid-pipe, the catback part, off of the cat so I can get some measurements and maybe make a little template of where these bolts line up. I want to go ahead and remove the flange bolts. Don't have to worry about those because they're already out. Disconnect the O2 sensors and then come up to the, after I get my measurements for the little template, come up to the V-band clamps, remove those, and then the baby should slide right out. Start with the front one and then the rear one. Okay, hopefully that leaf blower's gone. Got the downpipe to catback, flanges removed. I ended up taking the little clamp off of here so I could push these back. That was an E10 on mine. Just sitting that came off. 4 bolts there, they're all 13 millimeters. As I said, mine was already missing these bolts. I'll get that bracket after I get the downpipes out of the way. So next up is, if I can get a light in here with this, I'm going to remove the V-band, or loosen with the V-band clamps. Once you loosen these, and I don't really want to be able to get much footage with this hole, you loosen it, you end up having to kind of like pull off or break loose. You might be able to wiggle the downpipe. So I want to go ahead and remove bank 1, the forward downpipe first, and then focus on doing the same thing, loosening that V-band clamp and dropping the downpipes out. Alright, so that was a 13 millimeter also. I'll probably end up having to get a screwdriver in the little gap. Oh, no, I'm good. I was able to do it with one finger. Push and pull. Go ahead and actually just remove the bolt all the way. It's about as loose as it'll get. And then separate the V-band, bring it up around the downpipe. Get our O2 sensors out of the way. And I'll have to maneuver it off of this little clamp here. Alright, I got my black O2 sensor on the car side mounted. That's separated. There we go. You can just kind of twist and pull. You can put a little pick underneath that to get it off. So there, those are loose. What I'm doing is I'm pushing forward because that bracket has a little bend to it. The bolts, both the bolts off, which allowed the downpipe to come out of the turbo. All I have to do is slide it out of the bracket and pull it down. So. And boom, there is the Ford stock downpipe with nasty power robbing catalytic converter. Repeat the process on the rear one. Releasing the V-band bolt, taking that out, loosening the V-band, and dropping the cat. So, all right, stock cats are out. All right, here we go, side by side. These are stock catted downpipes. This is the ARM Motorsports Catless downpipes. It's a larger diameter throughout, obviously no restriction from the cats. I'm going to take the O2 sensors off and install them in the new ones going in, and put our V-band clamps on, and time to start putting this back together. So in my excitement to get the new downpipes on, I forgot that I had to get this bracket that hangs the stock downpipes, and this is a E18. It's on there fairly tight. Already kind of broke one of them loose, but this is actually a bell housing bolt. So this fits into the turbo, and this edge mates up against the turbo, and the V-band clamp has to go around them both. And then as you tighten it, it squeezes them together. So you can imagine the turbo's fitting inside. I guess it helps put it on the screen here. The turbo's fitting inside here, and as this tightens, it squeezes them. Okay, I think that was the ticket, was getting the clamp on the turbo. And you kind of have to spread it and rotate it around to get it to go over the lip. So you could kind of spread it when it's clocked a little bit more to the side, down to the front wheel. Spread it here and then rotate it and fit it over. And then one part of the lip and the back might still be touching. And then as you put the downpipe in place and fit it in there, you kind of rotate it back and spread it over, and then work it on and around the lip. But I don't really have an angle where you can see too well, but it's on there. We have wrench access to the 13mm screw to tighten it, and I still have it a little loose where it can be rotated in here. You only have about, this is just on the downpipe before the front one gets in, that much. So the front downpipe is going to come through here, so I'd imagine we need as much room this way without hitting the portion of the subframe here. So I'm going to fit the forward downpipe into place now, and I want to kind of use the same technique. I'm going to go ahead and put the band around the turbo first and then fit it into place. Right. Yeah, the forward end is mucho's easier. Let's see how we're lining up for the exhaust. Actually, it looks to be pretty close. But I'll probably put these in, and then the little board I made to make sure they're kind of lined up. But the main things here is just verifying you have clearance, pipe to pipe, pipe to subframe, and I don't really want this like hitting the engine, and that it'll line up with the exhaust in the back. So word of advice on my 08, mistake I made was did a Miltech Catback exhaust at the same time I was doing the downpipes. I pulled everything down, and then I really didn't have a guide to go off of for lining everything up, especially the downpipes, because they rotate in here. So if you're going to do both, I would do the downpipes first and then use the exhaust to get them realigned And then after you have these secured in, do that. But anyway, what I did here was the aftermarket downpipes don't have the studs attached or the bolts attached, so I just put a nut to hold it and brought the exhaust in and got it roughly lined up, but I focused on the rear cat, or the rear downpipe. Got it lined up, made sure I had frame clearance. I used a paper towel and wrapped it around and to where I could slide it through, and made sure I had clearance on the subframe the whole way across, and then tightened the V-band clamp. And made sure it was secure. Then, you know, you could do the same thing just with that, but I'd taken this little piece of cardboard and put the holes in there, so I fit them on the rear bank that I had tight, and then lined up the front bank and tightened that in. All right, downpipes are in. Downpipe to mid-pipe with gasket installed, tightened, O2 sensors in and plugged in. One thing I don't like is the placement of the bung puts the O2 sensor right up against the transmission. I'm not sure I like that, but it is what it is right now, so I guess they should torque and move together. I guess I don't have to worry about it contacting that, but maybe those things weren't particularly designed for the IS with the dual clutch transmission. I got to put the O2 sensors in. I'm about to bolt in the V-brace, O2 sensor, steering rack, and start it up. Didn't hear any exhaust leads from underneath. I'll let it get warm before I really rasp on it. At this point, I'm going to put the lower engine covers on. I'll check once more and make sure the no exhaust leaks, lower engine covers, and all the bodywork underneath, and take it for a drive.